In the very heart of Siberia lies a place that is perhaps the coldest, most unforgiving corner of the world. I'm talking about Oymyakon. Thermometers have once shown minus 71 degrees Celsius. It's so cold that your lungs can freeze with a single breath, and if you try to touch metal with your bare hands, your skin will peel off. In short, it's a white hell. But then there's the tenacity of humanity. Here, thanks to wisdom passed down through generations and astonishing traditions, life stubbornly continues. It has always made me think, no matter how harsh nature is, humanity's ability to adapt to it becomes even stronger. Here is the story of 5 women living in this icy land and the 5 extraordinary traditions that sustain them. These methods are so extraordinary that I wouldn't be exaggerating if I said they push the boundaries of science. Personally, reading it, I couldn't help but wonder, how is life possible under these conditions? Without their ancient knowledge, I'm sure they would have melted away in that vast white expanse. Neither technology nor modern equipment could ever replace the ancient practices taught by these lands. The first method is so astonishing that it directly involves our breath itself. Before stepping outside, these women wrap a clean, thin cotton cloth around their faces. This isn't just an accessory, it's a life-saving filter. Imagine at minus 71 degrees Celsius, the freezing cold air you inhale can instantly freeze and kill tissue. That's exactly what the cloth prevents. It slows down and warms the breath, essentially trapping the tiny ice crystals in the air. The most striking part is when the cloth is removed. Your breath freezes on it like an ice sculpture. What you see is death stop before it even reaches your lungs. Thinking about it, you realize how much survival can depend on such subtle details, don't you? Beneath the layers of fur lies another ancient layer, one that science might not readily accept but generations have never abandoned. Lard or bare fat. This fat is applied in a thick layer, especially to the most vulnerable areas like the nose, cheekbones, and fingertips. In fact, it's not just insulation, it acts as an active heat shield. When the fat comes into contact with the skin, it lowers the freezing point and physically slows down the crystallization of cells. I think the most striking thing is this. Without this seemingly simple method, the tissues in these extremities could turn gangrenous in just minutes. So that fat isn't just an ordinary ointment, it's like a life elixir racing against time and permafrost. This is how humans understand what they call nature's pharmacy. In this cold, metal is a clear enemy. Touching it with bare hands instantly exposes the skin to frostbite and sticks. The women's shocking method is to attach a wooden handle or grip to every metal object. Doorknobs, knives, car doors. One woman slips a leather strap over her gloves before checking her horse's bridle. These small, handmade accessories are life-saving barriers that prevent instantaneous contact from turning into a disaster. There, in that freezing cold, metal becomes a real enemy. If you try to touch it with your bare hands, your skin will instantly suffer frostbite and stick to the metal, like a wish, but one that turns into a complete nightmare. So what do these people do? The women have a surprisingly simple but ingenious solution. They add a wooden handle or grip to almost every metal object. Doorknobs, knife handles, car doors. For example, a woman who wants to hold her horse's bridle first puts a leather strap over her gloves. These small, handmade modifications are life-saving barriers that keep that momentary contact from turning into disaster. Actually, when you think about it, this isn't just a safety measure, it's also a philosophy of life. The saying, doing what you have, perfectly describes this. In other words, relying on experience and practical intelligence, not technology. Such a small detail protects the fine line between life and death. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, the method appeals not to the physical, but entirely to the spirit, community. At sunset, you can see women gathered around an orange fire, accompanied by the rustling of wood, stories, ancient songs, and sometimes a deep, silent solidarity are shared. In my opinion, the real issue is this. Psychological freezing is just as dangerous as physical freezing. That fire doesn't just warm hands, it nourishes willpower, resilience, and the spark of survival within. The feeling of not being alone is the greatest medicine in those moments. The fire, in a way, envelops them all like an invisible blanket. Without this tradition, loneliness and despair would seize their minds before the sheer cold. Because, in fact, they warm each other. As we say, where there's smoke, there's fire. Every wisp of smoke is like a sign of a breath clinging to life. Without that spirit of community, perhaps this icy land would have long since exhausted the life within it. Minus 71 degrees Celsius might seem like a boundary marking where life ends. But these Siberian women, with the ancient wisdom they learned from their ancestors, seem to cross that boundary anew every morning. From frozen breath sculptures made of cotton cloth to wooden handles made of lard, every detail is a silent testament to humanity's incredible ability to adapt to nature. I believe this story isn't just about surviving the cold, but about something much deeper. How life can be built in the very heart of that freezing cold. It speaks of solidarity, intelligence, and that tenacious love of life that blossoms even in the most hopeless circumstances. It's in moments like these that we realize how strong we can be in the face of adversity.